If you live in Chicago, you'll be glad to know that if you assault a police officer, you can go home that same day. Not home to Jesus because you've gotten shot. You can go home to your home. Because if you attack a police officer, since there's no more cash bail, you can skip tra-la off on your merry way after assaulting a cop. What am I talking about? Let's take a look at this here. Oh, and by the way, welcome back to the political living room. I am Karen. This is my living room, and we're going to talk about chaos. Yay! Yay! Chaos. My voice is almost back, but not entirely. Check this out. Illinois woman charged with attacking Chicago police officers released on no cash bail thanks to new state law. There you go. Just hand the city over to the criminals, because now it's fine to attack cops with impunity. Yay. Question: what will stop someone from hitting a cop with a bat, punching a cop in the face, shooting a cop? I don't know. We're talking about relying on criminals' ability and willingness to control themselves and to behave properly, because the mayor of Chicago and the other Democrats have just decided to hell with any kind of law and order. Just, who needs it? Bah, we got to be nice to criminals. All right, so let's take a look at this. Now, this is from Fox News. I did not find this reported in any of the other mainstream media outlets. I wonder why that is. Does this contradict the Democrat narrative that you can actually rely on criminals to behave themselves if you give them things like, I don't know, money or freedom or whatever? Wouldn't they use that money or freedom? Wouldn't they use that freedom in particular as license to commit acts of chaos and mayhem and violence? I think they would. They're criminals. All right. Let's learn a little bit more about this particular episode. Here we go. This is a picture of the person in question. Esmeralda Aguilar, 24, is charged with 4 felony counts of aggravated battery to a peace officer, but was released thanks to a new state law abolishing cash bail. So this individual can just go do it again. No deterrent. You might as well attack a cop, because why not? As a quick aside, this person does not look female to me. One of the things that the liberal media loves to do, and Fox News does this too, is that they will call male criminals female. What am I talking about? Well, check this out. This isn't from Fox News, but you understand my point. So this is an individual, this male person was accused of voyeurism in a restroom. I'll be talking about this on my other channel. You're kidding, right? Look, woman accused of voyeurism. Look at his face. Look at his face. This, to me, looks like a chubby guy who got his eyebrows done and gave himself a close shave and put on some good foundation. But that is an aside. I just wanted to put that in. I don't think this person is female. Let's keep going. Alrighty. Now, it says, reports that on the very first day of no cash bail, a violent offender, Esmeralda Aguilar, was arrested for attacking 4 Chicago police officers. 4. Sending 2 of them to the hospital, and was immediately released because the Cook County State's Attorney's Office didn't even bother to file a motion to seek detaining the accused. Can you imagine? What message does that send to cops? What message does that send to people who are willing to risk their lives and safety to protect their fellow citizens and their property? The message is, we don't give half a crap about you. As a matter of fact, we want you to quit. Because if it's okay for these individuals to assault you with impunity, why bother? Why bother? You have no respect from the mayor, no respect from criminals, no respect from the DA, no respect. So You can be out there trying to do your job properly as a police officer. Someone comes along and assaults you, and they just go on about their business. And again, there's no reason for them not to do it again. There's no reason for them not to repeat this act. There was no consequence. You have the inconvenience of getting arrested and getting booked and having to go to court. But they'll plead it down. This person isn't going to do any time. It's appalling. This is another way of defunding the police. You can defund the police if the cops quit because they are too demoralized to remain on the job. So I got to hand it to you, Democrats. But for law-abiding citizens, now there's no protection. If the numbers of cops fall so low that you cannot dispatch officers to actually protect people in need, then effectively you will have disbanded the police department, even if there are people who are still drawing a salary as officers. And what I mean by that is, if the police department is rendered ineffective due to attrition and veterans taking early retirement, or people just quitting, or people being just too demoralized to perform adequately on the job, then even though you can still have a police department that exists on paper, the group of people that you'll have will not be functioning as a police department. Because, like I said, what's the point? Okay, let's keep going. So, Aguilar was arrested moments after the alleged attack in the downtown area. However, she was released Monday, the same day the Pretrial Fairness Act, which is part of the Safety Act, went into effect. Of course. Because if there's no cash bail, that means that criminals can afford to commit crimes. You just removed another deterrent. And if it's up to the judge, and you've got these activist judges who are in the pockets of the Democratic politicians who are lackeys to the agents of chaos, what do you think's going to happen? How often do you think a judge is going to decide that someone poses a risk to the community and needs to be detained? I would imagine not very often. I cannot imagine, considering the degree of chaos that goes on in Chicago weekly with all of the gun homicides. I don't know what someone would have to do in order to remain in custody if they committed a crime in Chicago. We'll find out, though. I'm sure someone will commit some heinous act, and it will defy sense to release them, and they will be released. And then someone will commit another heinous act that will be even more heinous than the previous one. And then we'll see what the judges in Chicago deem worthy of actual detention. I'm not looking forward to that. I'm sure it'll be utterly horrific. But what we see here is just a taste of that. The goal of these politicians is the spread of chaos. The goal of these politicians is to render the police force completely ineffective and to run quality cops out of the police force entirely. Because nobody who can do any damn thing else with their life is going to stay in a job where they can get their behind handed to them by a bunch of miscreants and they have no recourse. They will not stay. So the unfolding disaster in Chicago is extremely fascinating to me, but it's also quite terrifying because this is some crap that they could try where I live. And I really don't like that. That scares me as a citizen. Because if there's nothing standing between me and criminal chaos, I've got some serious problems. And so does everybody else who's a law-abiding citizen and has gotten used to living in peaceful, reasonable conditions. But if the goal of the Democrats is to make sure that those peaceful and reasonable conditions that we've gotten used to are on the way out, I am definitely not voting for any of them, nor would I recommend that anyone do that. I'm not thrilled about Republicans, but I'm not voting for these freaking chaos agents here. Alrighty, I'm going to leave that here. Thank you very much for hanging out with me for this little political chat, and I will see you in the next video. Until then, have a great evening, and bye-bye.